In the first part of this tutorial series, I have taught you the two things that you need to prepare when you automate electronic certificates. Again, one is the Google Forms, where the participants of your activity will register. And then the second is the e-certificate template that you will be using to automate their certificates later on. Okay, in this video, I'm going to teach you on how to use the info that you gathered from your Google Forms, such as the name and the email address, in automating your electronic certificates. So once you're done with creating your Google Forms, you can now share this to your participants of the activities that you did. So you can simply share this by clicking the send button here. There are three ways to send this form. First is to send this through the email addresses of your participants if you have the email addresses beforehand. Then the second is if through a link wherein you're going to generate a link here, and then you will be sending this link to the participants. And the third is if you want to embed the form to a website or a blog or a social media account, you can actually also do that, and then you can also share it via Facebook or via Twitter. But for the purpose of this demo, I am just going to share the Google Forms to the participants using a link. So once I have this link already, I can copy this one and then send this out to the participants, and they can start filling in the Google form for the attendance to the activity that you just implemented. So let's say that the participants are now done filling in the form, and you can now see that there are responses here. That means 81 participants or persons have already registered or filled in the Google form. So you can actually opt now, turn this off, turn this button off, so you will no longer accept responses from other persons or from the participants. So you can now generate a Google Sheet, so you can now see all the info that were entered by the participants. So you just have to click that one, and then automatically from the Google Forms, from the data generated from Google Forms, it will now be converted to Google Sheets. So as you can see, I have here the names of the participants, and I also have their email addresses. So again, the names of the participants here will be the names that will be placed on the e-certificates later on, and then the email addresses here is where the e-certificates will be sent. So the name here, for example, the name here, which is in B2, immediately the certificate of this person will be sent to his or her email address here, which is found in C2. So that is what will happen when we automate the electronic certificate. Now that we already have the data that we need, the names of the participants and their email addresses, we can now proceed to automating the electronic certificates now. Let's proceed to the next video. See you there. Now that your Google form is ready and your template for your electronic certificate is ready, you can now send the Google form to your participants so they can start filling in the form already.